I know a lot of people want to like throw around the word like peak a lot when it comes to like shows, movies, like Toku and stuff like that. But like King-Ohger is kind of peak, right? And you know, listen, I say that in context. I say this as someone who's not big into Super Sentai, who's still like a fledgling getting into Toku for at least, well, the Super Sentai side of Toku. Like I've seen, when it comes to me, it's like, obviously Ultraman, Kamen Rider, Garo, Metal Hero stuff. That's, always been kind of like my lane. And it's only in the last couple of years that I started like really getting into Super Sentai around just before Zenkaiser started airing. So I'm not like I'm not an authority figure on Super Sentai. I'm not this encyclopedia that's very knowledgeable in Super Sentai. That's like whenever I've done Super Sentai videos, I always ask you guys who are watching this, hey, in the comments below, recommend some seasons for me to watch. And as of right now, we're 30 episodes in to King-Ohger, and it's the most consistent week to week basis of a Super Sentai I've watched. Whereas, Kamen Rider and this and that I constantly watch. Yes, and I do, before we get too far, I know I stopped reviewing King-Ohger because it was ruining my enjoyment of it as someone who doesn't review Super Sentai because I'm still getting used to this franchise. And like I'm so absorbed into it. I don't want to have to like take notes and analyze this show from with the reviewer mentality. I want to just enjoy it. Which I mean, I don't get me wrong. I enjoy Kamen Rider and stuff like that. Like I do. I enjoy it. Okay, but it's like I am really enjoying King-Ohger, and for me, it's like it's kind of peak compared to what like. So my journey with Super Sentai. Um, I'm bad with names. I'm gonna tell you right now. So I think it was like Zoyu Ranger, the one that they basically did Mighty Morphin Power Rangers on, right? I watched that. That was one of the first ones I watched because I was like, I'm curious. And then I did watch Real Soldier, and then I checked out Kiramager. And since then Zenkaiser was airing, so I did watch that. Don Brothers, I started. It was wacky. It was out there, and I was like, you know what? Like, let me hold off. And then I binged it all up until right before the finale. Watched the finale. That was such a batshit crazy season. I was like, damn. All right, this is a thing. This is a show, definitely. And for me, like, there's something about Super Sentai. There's something about it because I like a good team up. I like a good team, and I think that's something as a Kamen Rider fan and someone who like. And let's rewind the hand of time, shall we? I am 37 years old. When I was 7 years old, Power Rangers debuted. So I'm a Power Rangers kid. All right, I'm just gonna say it. I grew up on Power Rangers. Yeah, I fell out of love with the franchise and I stopped and I didn't really get back into it. Like sporadically, I'd hop back in, watch a season, disappear into the darkness, come back, check out another one. I mean, a lot of people do that. Not there's very there's very few people I know who have just consistently been watching this franchise every time a show comes out and hasn't taken a break. Sometimes you have to. I even did that with Kamen Rider and Ultraman. But like I think I was missing this team dynamic and this team camaraderie in a show that I'm watching cuz I don't watch a lot of stuff that like hits that, right? And when I say King-Ohger's peak, it's because man, I've never within the first batch of 5 episodes, I've never been that like just encapsulated in like enthrall like just in like 100% all in on these characters. Every character, whether it's Dabowski, even Rita, you know, Himeno, just everyone has like a characteristic that I'm just like, okay. Especially like earlier on, I feel like I was really kind of too hard on Rita as a character because they didn't get a lot of personality on screen. They were like stoic, silent, only speaking, you know, when it's important. It's kind of like a Kevin Smith, the Silent Bob situation, where it's like Silent Bob doesn't say anything, but then it's a diatribe monologue that just like gives you that aha moment. And then even seeing up now to episode 30, I'm like, that there has been that character growth for Rita's character, and I'm like, ooh, I was like, all right, you guys were cooking with this, but everybody has these characters that you can just something about their characters. There's a character for everybody, you know. And I'm gonna address the elephant in the room. Tachibana's in the show. Okay, that got me. That's why that's why it's peak. All right, I'm just saying. You got Tachibana from Blades actor in there, and I'm like, ooh, and he's got a nice hat. As a appreciator of hats, I was like, oh, that's drip. That's peak right there. You knew I was gonna say it. I mean, there's all the sentimental stuff about Super Sentai and this, that. That's cool and all, but Tachibana is in, and I'm like, yep, this is the best show ever made. Oh, it's perfect. No, actually, I'm joking, but that was actually a pretty cool moment as my cat's going to start eating while I'm recording, because every time I got to record, she starts eating, and it's loud. But, no, jokes aside, like, King-Ohger kind of, like, I don't know, created a monster in me. Because, one, I got all the Udos and the mini Plas, and anyone who knows I don't really, like, buy a lot of Super Sentai or Power Rangers merch, especially Super Sentai stuff. And yeah, I got the Real Soldier Morpher. I've got a few other, like, at the Zenkai's Geertlinger and stuff like that. But it's like, I've been going in on the Super Sentai merch for King-Ohger, and then going back and watching other things. Like, I started watching, watched and finished Die Ranger. I finished Lupat, which I don't get why a lot of people like. Like, I can see how, like, some people love or hate it. Me, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. I can't find out what the next itch is. I think I'm gonna watch the one that has was it like Sun Vulcan and stuff like that. I think I'm gonna watch that one. I did start Jetman. That one I'm hoping to finish soon. I can't, like, I don't want to overwhelm myself with, like, watching a bunch of seasons. Like, I see people doing their, like, media threads on X or Twitter, and, you know, the videos other people create where they're binging, like, a Super Sentai season in, like, less than 2 weeks or less than a week, and I'm like, damn, I don't know how y'all do it. Like, they're good shows. I can do, like, batches here and there, you know. But man, like, there's certain, like, Super Sentai, like, I kind of am kicking myself because I slept on it for so long, because it's good. Like, and I'm really looking forward to getting, like, and the worst thing is the merch, okay? Because now, you know, I'm starting to get the Shoto Super lineup. Like, I got the Die Ranger ones. I got the ones, I always forget the name. They're the ones that end up being, like, the Alien Rangers for Power Rangers. They just showed more of the the SMP mini plus sets. So I got, like, the Wan Tiger and the Dairula. I can't enunciate it. Like I said in the beginning, I'm gonna butcher names. And then they just announced the turtle thingy, which I gotta get. That's like $140. But they keep announcing, like, the toys are what are getting me too, because, like, man, the Shoto Super lineup and then the freaking SMPs for the freaking mechas are just so good. And I attribute all of this to King-Ohger. I really do, because Zenkaiser was like, alright, and then, like, when they do the different gears, I'm like, I would see, like, the cool power up in the Sentai, like, you know, team appear one, and I'm like, oh, that's a cool suit. Oh, that's a cool power up. Let me make a note. I'm gonna check that season out. But King-Ohger, I'm sitting here getting into that story and the characters, and I'm just like, damn, I need to feel this more. I need to find, like, are there other shows? Like, I'm like, all right, let me go watch Die Ranger. Because I'm like, I'm getting that fix where it's like, yeah, I'm waiting every week and I'm watching King-Ohger, but I need that, like, I need that storytelling. I need that. And like I said, this isn't I don't like to compare all the different Toku franchises and have them, like, against each other. Just like I won't have the Power Rangers versus Super Sentai debate. I will never have that debate with anybody because it's two different things. And I'm not going to say one is better than the other for this and this is better than that. Like, yes, I get it. Power Rangers, they have kind of like almost some, to an extent, a universe canon. To an extent. To an extent, don't take that out of context. Whereas Super Sentai, it's show to show, season to season, which I appreciate. Oh yeah, I watch Gokaiger also, and that is fucking. Now I know it's called Marvelous. That's That's just such a good. That's another one that's peak right there too. And like my thing is, I Super Sentai is doing something to me as a Toku fan that like, man, I'm loving the storytelling. Cause like for me with Kamen Rider, like I like the stories and stuff, but I'm always like, oh, it's like especially in recent years, it's been more like, okay, what's the power up? What's the form? These forms, like when you watch Geats, more people are talking about the forms than they are actual story parts of the show. Same with Revice and Saber. You know, you see more people talking about the forms than anything, whereas Super Sentai, that they don't get a new form every couple episodes or this and that. They get a power up and, you know, maybe a mecha power up and this and that. So it's like, it's cool where it's like, I don't need to sit there and be like taking away forms and power ups constantly and just focusing on like the story and the characters. It's what I liked about Heisei Phase 1 of freaking Kamen Rider. It's it's character, it's world building, it's lore, in the dynamic of a team. And I'm like, oh, and King-Ohger is just hitting that stride so good. And I'm just like, man, there's like, I don't, I really, I'm trying to think how to word it. Because I'm like jumbling my words now. Because like, one, I don't have a script. I'm not, this is all like right into the camera, right into the microphone. It's just so, and I think visually appealing. Visually, the visuals are what gets me. Like, and the thing is too, I can watch Showa era stuff, I can watch Heisei era stuff, and not be like, oh, this looks like ass. I don't care about that stuff. You know, I care about storytelling. But it doesn't help that King-Ohger looks really good. I mean, yes, there's some issues with the green screen stuff. We know this. It happens. But man, this show is just killing it for me. And we're 30 episodes in, and I'm just like, I was like, this is the show that's like got me. This got me into Super Sentai. Like, cause yeah, like I said, I've watched other shows and other seasons before this, but like, that was just because, hey, you should check this out. I'm like, all right. Like, Zenkaiser, I checked it out. Zenkaiser really checked it out because, like, you know, I started the YouTube channel. I was doing some, Power Ranger stuff and this and that. I was like, oh, well, I'll check out this Zenkaiser and I'll review it. And it was all right. Didn't really, like, you know, there's some moments. But it's one of those things where I'm just like, it didn't make me like, oh my God, Super Sentai, I need all of it, you know? Same with Don Brothers. Don Brothers didn't do it, but like something about King-Ohger, like this is like the other ones I was able to drop, you know, 6, 10, 15 episodes in and be like, all right, I'll just come back and binge it. But like King-Ohger, I can't stop. Like I don't want to take a break. I want to watch it every week when it drops. I want to talk about it, even though I don't review it. I just want to have conversations with people about it, which I do on, you know, Tokutonic Shift live stream and stuff like that. But King-Ohger is one of the shows where it's like I've already recommended it to 2 people that are friends of mine that don't, like, outside of Ultraman, like, Godzilla stuff, don't really mess with Toku. And I literally explained to them, like, hey, you know that, like, green screens, cool green room tech stuff they use for, like, Mandalorian? He's like, yeah. I'm like, dude, they're using that on, like, the newest Super Sentai season in Japan. He's like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah. He's like, what's Super Sentai? And I'm like, you know, the Japanese Power Rangers. He's like, oh. Yeah, like, that's where they get the footage that they use for Power Rangers. I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh. They're using that? I'm like, yeah. He's like, at a kid's show? I'm like, dude, watch it. Hooked him up with the link. And he's just like, this is crazy. This is good. And he's like, and then he literally flat out asked me, and I hate doing the comparison. He's like, yo, are they doing anything like this currently, like with the Power Ranger stuff? I'm like, no, they're not. He's like, okay. I was like, I was just curious because this is pretty good. I'm like, no, it's really good. And he now watches it. This is someone who doesn't know. So King-Ohger is just hitting. It's hitting so good. But yeah, no, I'm just the whole gist of this video, honestly, is because one, to explain where the King-Ohger reviews have gone, and two, it's just I love and appreciate this show so much. Like, and you know, my wallet doesn't because I'm buying a lot of other Super Sentai stuff, but like, I can always say if 10 years down the road, you know how people talk about like the first Kamen Rider season they watched, or the first like Ultraman, or you know The first season you watch something, it doesn't mean it's going to make you a fan. What's the first season that really made you a fan of a franchise? And my answer is gonna be King-Ohger every time. Like, you can reword it all you want. That'll be my answer every time. They're like, hey Mark, what's the first Super Sentai you watched that got you really like? I'm in it. I'm a Super Sentai fan now. I'm gonna say King-Ohger, 100%. But yeah, obviously that's it for the video. But I need some help in the comments below. Recommend your favorite Super Sentai season to me. It could be just the name of it. It could be, Mark, check out this season because it has this. And don't bring any of that Power Rangers versus Super Sentai negativity into the comments. Don't bring other Toku franchises into it. I want it to just be Super Sentai. And indie stuff. If you say Waku Saber, I swear, I already seen it. It's hilarious. Don't ask me about the movie. That's all I'm gonna say. Don't ask me about the movie. I'm gonna say I plead my Fifth Amendment rights to not speak on the Waku Saber movie for fear of self-incrimination. So no, not gonna answer about that. But yeah, jokes aside, please let me know your favorite Super Sentai. Make recommendations to me. I have every season on my external hard drive. It's just picking what I watch next. Because, like I said, I'm gonna finish Jetman. I'll probably have Jetman finished by the end of the week, by Sunday or Monday, or even Monday at the latest. So, I need to know what to watch next. So let me know in the comments below. I thank you guys for watching, and yeah, that's it. Just thanks for watching.